The movie centers in Fall River, Massachusetts. On August 4th, 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were found dead in their home after being brutally slaughtered by an axe. The main suspect was Lizzie Borden, the couple's daughter who became a media sensation after the incident. A history of violence was discovered in the Borden ancestry, and the legend of the family curse grew with time. The family continues to live in Fall River, unaware of their dark heritage. Every October, stories get passed around of grisly deaths in the area, and it's said that a dark spirit transfers from woman to woman, inhabiting their souls to kill in its name. In the present day, an upset wife, Gina, is seen taking the flowers her husband had left her and throwing them out into the garbage after stepping on them several times. Still upset, she takes a jog down the street into the pier, trying to calm herself down. And suddenly, an unseen figure slams her face with an axe and then repeatedly hits her until she finally dies. In Fall River High School, a teenager Tara plays lacrosse with her teammates on the school field. During the game, Tara gets elbowed in the face by an opposing team player who happened to also be her nemesis. Angry, she swipes the girl's legs from under her, making her fall and managing to score right after. After the game, Tara and her best friend Susie sit on the school bus and talk about what happened at school. Susie threatens to beat up the girl that hurt her friend, and after the school drops Susie at her house, Tara passes out for a few minutes and has a nightmare about hurting her infant sibling and wakes up and still finds herself on the bus. When Tara gets home, her mom was in the kitchen preparing dinner while the baby monitor transfers the loud screaming of her baby sibling. Going upstairs, Tara takes care of the baby, whispering that she would never hurt him. Her mom hears what she's saying through the comm and tells her to bring him down if he's hungry, but Tara explains that he only needs a change. On a different part of the street, police arrive at the residence where a husband reported his wife Gina missing. The police question Mikhail, the disappeared woman's husband, and ask him if there's been a huge fight after finding the roses in the garbage. Mikhail confesses that he sent the babysitter texts and gives them her name, Tara Borden. During dinner with her family, Tara asks if she could borrow the car for the weekend, and her mom Emily tells her that she wouldn't give her the car if she was babysitting for Gina's family, which she promises that she isn't. During the conversation, Emily's sister Diane is mentioned in the convo, and Emily suggests that they should all go and see her on the weekend. The family doesn't want to go, but Emily insists, pushing her children and her husband. After dinner, her father Ben intercepts Tara while she leaves the bathroom and speaks to her about her boyfriend Carl, who's gonna go to Stanford. Ben tries to give her a generic speech about how she shouldn't feel bad, coming on to her in the most subtle way. And feeling quite uncomfortable, she tells him that she can handle herself okay and just walks away. After the weird conversation with her stepdad, Tara spends some time with her boyfriend, who sneaks his way into the property. While they were making out, she sees a shadow of a person walking in her room and she hurries up the stairs. When she couldn't find anyone, she yells at her parents, telling them to stay out. Emily follows her daughter to her room and talks to her about her behavior that's recently changed, and she reminds her of what her sister went through when she was only 16. And after discussing the situation, they agree to make an appointment for the next day. Once her mom leaves, Tara continues to do her homework, sewing a cloth that she had to finish for her class. Tired, she passes out on her desk, and her mom turns off the light after finding her there. When she wakes up, she finds herself in her younger brother's room, attempting to kill him after being led on by her ancestor's ghost. After almost doing it, Tara holds herself back and hides herself in the bathroom. In the morning, Tara goes to school and is required to see the counselor, who tells her that her mom was called and was worried. Tara sarcastically mentions her family curse and asks if her mom thinks that she was going crazy as well. The counselor asks Tara about her aunt that she was going to visit and asks her how she felt about it, and Tara explains that her aunt had suffocated her children when she was only 16 years old and was sent to a mental institute. Her therapist subtly mentions that she wasn't saying that Tara wasn't schizophrenic, but that it would help to get checked out. Angry, Tara leaves the office after telling the woman that she would never hurt her family. On her way out, Tara runs into two cops that question her about her ex-employer's disappearance, but Tara tells the cops that she stopped working for the couple after the husband sent her some texts and a picture. He had bought one of her clothes on Etsy and asked her to model them for him. The detectives start insinuating that she had something to do with the disappearance, which makes Tara angry and she just walks away. Out in the woods, Tara's school nemesis walks inside the woods alone after school, and a person wearing a lace dress appears out of nowhere and starts hacking at her with an axe. The girl screams for help, but there was no one around for miles. sells. That night, Susie stays over with Tara and watches her as she makes the dresses she sells online. Looking at her intently, Lucy tells her friend how talented she is, mentioning her inadequacy. Stressed by the constant nightmares of hurting her family, Tara tells her friend that she might kill her family. Susie calms her down and tells her that it was normal to feel that way when you're a teenager, and the next morning, Tara goes to the kitchen and finds her brother eating breakfast alone while her parents fight. When her father finally comes down to get her brother to take him to school, Tara goes up to speak to her mom and is told to visit her aunt alone. Tara protests, saying that she doesn't want to go see the woman that suffocated her own child, but her mom angrily tells her to never mention that and orders her to take her friend Susie and go. A few minutes later, Tara hears a knock on the door and goes to open it, and on the door were the detectives that questioned her the day before. Her mom sits next to her while they question Tara, asking her about Karen, a girl from school. They mention that the girl who got into an altercation with Tara had gone missing, which makes Emily defensive, telling them that Gina's husband knew both the missing women and that they should go question him instead. Once the police leave, Tara takes her friend Susie and heads out to the mental institution to see her aunt. When she gets there, her aunt Diana takes one look at her and realizes what's been happening to Tara. She mentions the dark thoughts Tara has been having, telling her that the women of her family always somehow go through something like this. Angry, Tara tells her aunt that she would never hurt a child like she did, and Diana, seeming relaxed, tells her that the tradition of murder in the family required more harsh measures and that her child wasn't suffocated to death but chopped up by an axe. But when Tara tells her aunt that she would never hurt a child like she did, angry, Diana charges her niece to the ground and tries to choke her, but the attendants get her off. When she gets home, Tara confronts her mom about the story that she told them of the murder her sister committed, and while sitting on the dining room table, Emily tells her daughter that she told her sister that she's been having hallucinations because she didn't want her only sister feeling alone. After apologizing for lying, Emily explains that she found her sister with the dead baby, an axe still clenched in her hand, and their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of Tara's father. That night, Tara starts doing extensive research on her ancestors, and after finding out some stuff, Tara calls her friend Susie and tells her everything. When the conversation ends, Susie starts cutting herself, feeling repressed and unable to tell Tara that she was in love with her this whole time. The next morning, Tara was heading out for a sleepover, but sees her father aggressively cutting wood. Thinking nothing of it, Tara gets into Susie's car and drives away, having her friend help her sneak away to her boyfriend's house. Susie looks at them jealously as they kiss, wishing that she could be the one staying with Tara. Tara and her boyfriend arrive at the bed and breakfast, and Tara opts to get the legitimate room that her ancestor had for an extra $60. That night, Tara heads out of her room to check out the rest of the bed and breakfast, seeing all the trinkets that they had of Lizzie, who just like Tara, was an expert seamstress. And on the very same night, Tara joins the owner for science night, which goes wrong when Tara gets possessed by her ancestor's spirit. She tries to kill the owner with Lizzie's axe, but passes out before she can go through with the act. Her boyfriend Jack screams and hurries downstairs, only to find his girlfriend on the ground and the owner yelling that she was possessed. The two get kicked out of bed and breakfast, forcing them to stay at a motel. Tara calls her friend Susie that night and asks her to get all the clothes that she's made from the basement of her house and to keep them with her, thinking that they might be triggers. Susie heads to Tara's house first thing in the morning and tells Emily what Tara had asked. She lets Susie know where to find everything, but while she's putting the clothes in a plastic bag to take to her home, she's attacked with an axe by an unseen figure. Tara calls her friend and is worried that something might have happened to her, and when she gets to her house, she sees her friend's car out in the driveway and is curious about what she's still doing there. She tries her phone again and she can hear the ringtone coming from the basement. The house is dark and empty. Her mother is nowhere in sight. She tries to check on her baby brother, but she couldn't find him in the crib, and this really worries her. In the attack, her other brother Caleb hides while holding a bat, but he relaxes once he sees that it's his sister. He goes on to tell her that he found Susie's body in the trunk downstairs and that she was dead. While Tara and her boyfriend continue to case the place, a sudden attack from Emily leaves them stunned after Jack loses an arm. Tara manages to push her mother away and stops Jack from bleeding out by using his belt. Grabbing the axe that had fallen on the floor, she follows her mother and finds the dead body of her aunt on the kitchen floor. Emily appears from the other room looking like she was drunk on the power of killing people, and she tells her daughter that it was so long since she killed people which made her feel so good, and she attacks her with a kitchen knife. She confesses that she was the one that killed her sister's child, believing that it was born out of incest of her father and her sister, and Emily accuses her daughter of attempting to do the same thing, which leaves Tara confused. confused. As she stares at her mom, her eyes completely go black, looking possessed, and she throws away the axe and tells her that she won't be able to kill her. Enraged, Emily charges at her with a knife, but is shot down by one of the detectives that got there just in time. In the next few days, Tara mourns her friend who'd been murdered by her mom, and she stays in her room for days, avoiding contact with people. She takes responsibility for her baby brother Jack, taking care of him as if he was her own. And the movie ends as Caleb plays in his father's car, and the cast of Lizzie Borden appears in the back, insinuating that she had the same dark tendencies as most of the Borden children. If you want to watch more creepy horror movie recaps, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment. We'll see you next time. Bye.